Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So, welcome to another Forge Dev Den. My name is Ayan, a developer advocate from Atlassian, and I'll be your host for today. So, as a developer advocate, one of my goals is to help grow and support the developer community in their Forge journey. So, co hosting with me is my teammate Melissa. Ja- Okay. So, if you enjoyed Forge Quest and the Forge Learning Path, Mel was instrumental in making those a reality. So, hi, Mel. How are you?
Hey, good, thanks.
Yeah. I know everyone is excited to hear from our students, but before we do, let's go over some announcements.
That's me, right?
Yep.
Let me just share my screen.
Yep. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, hi everyone. As Ian said, I'm Mel from
Oh,
the Oh, have you got my slides?
nope. You're sharing the presenter notes. Can you try resharing again?
Oh, yeah, I can.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Okay. There
This
you
is what I
go.
get for having too many screens. How's that?
Yep, that looks good.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, I'm Mel from the DX team, and I'm here to let you know about a couple of events that we have coming up. So, first and foremost is Team 25 Europe, which is just around the corner next month in October. So, if you haven't got your tickets already, there's still a little bit of time left to register. And if you've been waiting for a sign, maybe this is it. The developer experience team will be conducting 2 hands-on Forge developer training sessions, one targeted at beginners and the other for intermediate developers. So we can cover a lot of bases there. So if you learn best by doing and getting your hands dirty, sign up now and we'll see you there. Next up, if you're not a part of the Atlassian developers community, I recommend that you go to this link and join now. That's go.atlassian.com/ace-dev-community. So here you'll get updated with the latest developer events, which can be virtual, in person, or hybrid. And in line with that, coming next month, we also have an in-person event in Cologne where you'll get to meet other like-minded users who are passionate about everything Atlassian. And Katarina from the DX team will also be attending this event in person. So if you're nearby, why not register to attend and drop by for this free in-person event? And also next month in Madrid, following Team, there's going to be a Forge hackathon. So a team of developer advocates will be there, Ian included, to talk about Forge and help unblock our hackathon participants. So if you're attending Team 25 in Barcelona, this might be the perfect side quest just for you. And again, if you're not yet part of the Atlassian developers community, I can recommend that you sign up now and get the latest updates on our next events and learning opportunities.
Okay.
That's it for me.
Thank you, Mel. That sounds really good. So if you haven't registered yet, please register to Team 25 EU. Okay, so that's it for our announcement. So for today, we have a really special Forge Dev Den. So with us are 3 groups of students from the University of New South Wales, Sydney. They are all first-time Forge developers. Uh, they worked on their respective projects to solve real-world use cases. So to tell us more about the program, I'll call on Amanda from Atlassian. So hello, Amanda. Can you
Hey
share a
there.
little bit? Yep. Hey, Amanda. Yep.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, so I'm Amanda and I help run Atlassian Classroom. So Atlassian Classroom's a program we run here at Atlassian where we organize collaborations with unis across Australia. So there's a range of programs we run. So we do things like we run lectures on things like Agile or front-end coding. We supply courses with the Atlassian suite so that students can use our products for their coursework. And in fact, our biggest collaboration is this program we run with the University of New South Wales for their capstone project course. So groups of final year students build a project for a real or fictional client, and our Atlassian mentors and act as the project client for a group, and we ask them to build an app using Forge to solve a real problem that we have with, for example, Atlassian apps. So the students get exposure to real world APIs and tools, and then they get an industry mentor as well. And for a lot of students, it's the first time they've built an app from scratch before, actually. So yeah, so some of those projects from this program are what the students will be demoing today.
Oh, wow. That sounds really good. So basically, these students had a glimpse on how to work on real world challenges that people face, right?
Yes, exactly. So, you know, a lot of assignments can be a bit contrived. So it's good for them to actually try and interact with real world products and systems.
Yeah, sounds really interesting. Okay. Before we introduce the speaker, I think we have some people from the chat. So first, hello, Brian. Oh, it's late out there, right? Thanks for our. Brian is one of our usual attendees, so thanks for staying up late. Okay, and then we have folks from LA. Hello, Liz. Staying up late. Staying up late. So thank you for joining us. Okay, there you go. So now it's time to introduce our first speaker. So the team built a capacity planning app for Confluence, but elevated it to the next level. So I'd like to call on Andrew as our first presenter. So Andrew, hey Andrew,
Oh yeah.
how are you?
Just see my screen. All good.
Okay, can you share? Let me know if your screen is okay. There you go. Can you adjust your mic a bit?
Yep. It's all good here.
Yep, that's much better.
Okay, it's all good. So hey, I'm Andrew, and yeah, our group just developed a capacity planning app. So we'll just dive right into it now. So essentially, our application was referenced, like we tried to reference a lot of internal, like Atlassian and Jira sort of applications that are already there in terms of like Jira Calendar and Jira Timelines, that sort of thing. So essentially, the gist of our application was an app capable of visualizing and assigning usable, like user editable resources taken from Jira. So like essentially Jira issues and Jira backlog and other sort of things that are already available in Jira in a timeline oriented format. So we essentially had three main targets and goals that we wanted to achieve. First being to streamline and converge existing like feature requirements from like these references from Jira timeline and such into this application. The second was taking internal integration and alignment with existing services from Atlassian. So essentially from Jira backend and backlog and those sort of areas. And then the third was aligning with Jira design language, compatibility, and ease of use. So essentially creating an application that was compatible and fits seamlessly within Atlassian itself. So diving into our first target, we wanted to focus on referencing our existing systems. So you can see in this like two split videos here that you have essentially Jira timeline on the right and you have our application on the left. So we tried to take a lot of design principles and then similar behaviors and then essentially try to integrate them between both applications there. So we had three key features we wanted to focus on. The first being providing an applicable forecasting sort of figure and estimator. So that was one key feature we had to have in terms of essentially trying to project when a project would end or be estimated to be finished on time or not. The second being integrating lockout assignment and retainment. So essentially providing users with the feature to block out dates for availabilities depending on whether they're away or not. And the third being constructing scalable and developable solutions. So creating an application with components that can be scaled infinitely and can be developed into the future. The second target that we had was integrating with existing services. So as stated before, we needed to source our project from Jira itself. So we use Jira Cloud REST APIs, which are very simple to use. They are just essentially just APIs you can reference and integrate into your JavaScript application. The second being asynchronous updates, which were referenced throughout the stack. So we wanted to have a front-end UI that you could update. And then you can see here, we have our Jira backlog there. So it needs to be able to essentially update dynamically and across into that Jira backend. And the third being custom Forge SQL that we use to store our own block availabilities. So essentially, Jira doesn't have user availabilities at the moment. So we needed to set up our own storage so you could store our custom blocks into that and persist. And third being design language and compatibility. So essentially, we wanted to create an application that was familiar with existing Atlassian users. So we wanted to take a lot of the design language from Atlassian and Jira applications across to our own product. So we created a lot of scalable components. We tried to use a lot of existing color palettes and refine areas that we think could be improved on. Essentially, there were a few areas of like dark on dark text that we felt could be improved. So we did that. General layout and structure. So we tried to take a lot of existing structures over, which we'll reference in our demo, but essentially a lot to do with the timeline, the structure of user components, and then here you have user issues and other things. So you have keys, titles, dates, everything should be logical. And in terms of user behavior and interaction with elements, so essentially a lot of the existing behavior we tried to incorporate as well in terms of just usability, in terms of tooltips, and everything should just be intuitive to use. So we'll just move on to our live demo here. So essentially here we're referencing, I think I'll just have to share that new screen there. New window. 3, 2, yeah. All right. Okay, so yeah, we have our backend here. So this is essentially just your regular Jira backend here with a bunch of different types of issues and tasks here. So everything's just been filled out. You've got dates, story points, all the regular stuff here. So just like a normal project. And we have about 5 different projects that I've set up just to demo here. So in terms of our actual application, you see we have our initial view. We have essentially 2 views. So you have this initial view where you can select your project. So when you load this macro, you essentially just select which project you want to use. So I'll view this Confluence Cloud project because that has most of our data in it. So once that loads, you can see you're presented with a timeline view with all your current users. So those were all our group members. And then you have existing issues, block dates, and tasks. I'll just move to what I had prepared before. So this is essentially a basic view. So starting at the top, you have your taskbar, which is meant to reflect what Jira timeline already has. So you have your projects, you got your title there, and then you got your projected estimator. So this is for estimating whether your project will be projected to be finished on time or not. So as Jira doesn't really have like a start and end date indicator, you can select that yourself as the user. So if I selected an interval here, you can see it says it's projected to be 7 days late. And obviously, as you extend that interval, you'll get more time to complete a project. And then if you shrink that down, it will recalculate, and then it'll essentially project what it thinks your end date will be. And then we've also tried to incorporate similar elements to what we've already observed from our reference. So in terms of these checkboxes, you can see they're assigned to users. So if you essentially check a user here, you're taking that user away from this calculation. So let's say I'll take myself away from here, and you see that the date updates with an extra 5 days of work time. So essentially, the more users you take away, the less resources you have, and it'll just recalculate it based on your projections. So I'll just take more users away. You'll see that gets later and later. And obviously, once you take away all your users, you're not going to have any progress on a certain task. So moving on to essentially what is the gist of our project, we have our users here. So as usual, like you have all your users specified here, you have your projects and task dates here, like progress bars stated. So here you see I have no task completed, so it's all empty here. For Chola here, you see here that only has 1 task and it's all completed. So you see his progress bar is all filled and he has a done indicator to specify that it's completed. For Jordan here, he has, I think it was 3 tasks here. He has 1 task that is completed and 2 that aren't. So you can see it's reflected here in that tooltip as well. As for the tasks themselves, they're all based on what you can, like what we scraped from Jira. So you can see a taskbar has essentially the key from that issue. You have your task here, so it's the stories, you have your icon here, you have your title of that task here, so this would be the user story that we had for that task, and then you have your projected story points and end dates. So this one in particular is 5 days long, so it should be 5 blocks long. We have tooltips that are reflective, so they should hopefully provide extra information based on what the task title and keys are. And then, yeah, and when you click on a project, you can see it should give you additional details taken from Jira. So you have your titles, you have the descriptions, priorities, dates, and all other relevant pieces of data. So as for the tasks themselves, they are all interactive and movable. So you can move them to reflect like data across back to Jira. So at the moment you have a task here that starts on the 13th and ends on the 18th. And then you can see that CP12 there. So if we go back to here, that was this one, CP12. You see all the dates and stuff all here. So we go back. So let's say we wanted to move to the 10th. You can see here, go back, reload it again, just to get it to update. And you see it's reflected. So it's now starting on the 10th. And then you can also edit these tasks. So essentially, this editable taskbar is similar to what we had in Jira Timeline already. So if you wanted to extend it, it'll edit the story points of that task. So at the moment, it's 5 story points long. If you wanted to extend it out to 9, you'll see that it should update at some point. And then, yep, it turns to 9, and then it should shrink it well. So if you take it back to 3, you'll go to 3, and then 3. And then you can move it between users to assign it to different users. So let's say I wanted to assign it to Chola on the 4th. So I'll go back there, update there. And you can see it's updated Chola now. So it should be all native. It should be seamless and I guess very easy to use, hopefully. And then, so that's in terms of moving issues. And then we also have our block dates. So these block dates are static. So you can see they have a title there that's specified by the user trying to implement the availabilities. And then you can see there's an appropriate pop-up tooltip to give you more information on who it was created by. So essentially with this, you have 2 options in terms of creating block date. You have an individual block date that you can assign for a single date. So if I wanted to add like 1 per date, so for example, 1 here, you can add it inline here and it will be added instantaneously here. And then the backend will automatically send a request back to Forge SQL, and then I'll save that in the backend. In terms of adding multiple dates, so we have a pop-up modal here where you can access a form. You can't select anything until you select a user. So let's say I wanted to add it to Yatran here, let's say between the 5th and 7th of August here. So let's say 7th there, then you got 3 days, let's say 3 days, add it there, and you can see it's automatically added there. And then obviously, once a block date is added in between a task, all these tasks will automatically resize to account for that. So you can see that these tasks automatically span across those block dates because you can't work on a block date. And then these should still be the same story points as they were previously. So let's take this one out. So it was 6 before, and then you wanted to add block date here, you add it there, and it's still 6 there. So it should all be consistent. And yeah, it should all resize automatically. And you can also have concurrent dates as well. So let's take these away. You can see that user stories are stacked upon each other. So you can run issues at the same time. So if I wanted to drag this across to Chola, you can see it will automatically restructure to incorporate for that. And then same for more and more users, and then block dates as well. So it should automatically just calculate and then essentially reorganize all your tasks to ensure that it all remains the same. And then in particular, if you want to add a task on a block date because you can't work on a block date, obviously it'll just reassign to the next available date. So it'll just push it to the next date and it should all just be intuitive. And then I think the last couple of things to do with issues were referencing them across different months. So at the moment we have our views here. You got a today indicator, weeks, bi-weekly, and months here. So obviously this will just change the views. So weeks, bi-weekly, months, you can see how it automatically adjusts and everything's reflected dynamically. And then if you want to find the current date, you just click today, it'll take you to the current date there with an indicator. And then in terms of switching between views, so we can drag an issue across to a different month. So you just drag it to the end here, and I'll go back to a different month there. See it's over there. And if you want to drag it back, just drag it across and drag it back. And then we'll drag it back across. So it should all be intuitive and easy to use, hopefully. And then in terms of our actual unassigned tasks, so we have unassigned tasks here in its own pop-up toolbar. So this was important to incorporate as this was essentially the gist of the project where you had unassigned tasks and you wanted to assign it to different users to essentially complete a project. So we have a sprint here, and we also have another custom task here. So they all reflect the palettes that we've implemented taken from Jira. So you can click on it. It has all the same data that you have from Jira as before with all the other tasks. Same here. You have your parents there before as well, with the other tasks there before. I think it was one of these. Yep, yeah, parents and sprints and everything's referenceable. It's all easy to use, due dates and such. So if we wanted to just assign an unassigned task to a user, well, I'll just take it back there and show you the back end for that first. So that was 4. You can see this was all data to set up for that particular task, and you can see that task is unassigned. And then we'll change that start date to someone else. So let's say I want to assign it to me. So you change it to 10th of August, and then it should update as well. In the back end, you can see it's updated to me and then 10th of August. So that should all be hopefully easy to use. And then you have a few remaining tasks here, just to provide you with some relevant information, just to help you with making decisions on whether to assign tasks or not. So you have your remaining task, you have upcoming blocks. So obviously, if I wanted to add a block date to myself after the current date, you can see it'll update here, and then you see you have 1 day of upcoming blocks referenced afterwards. If I want to add a task to myself after the current date, I can add it there as well, and you can see that updates 1 task as well. So that should help hopefully give you an indicator of what your current task and current availabilities are, and whether you want to assign them to different users to yourself, and you can just make a decision based on that. And then I think one of the last things that we had was just switching between projects. So obviously this is our main project, Confluence Planner. We have our projects here, tooltips here, so you can reference them. They're all similar to what your timeline currently has. So you can just click on that to get a drop down as well. So let's switch to the Canback project, and you can see it all update there, and you can reference all your block dates and existing tasks to your other projects as well. So it should all be seamless and easy to use, and yeah, it should all be familiar to use, hopefully. Okay, so let's go back to our final touches for this presentation. Let's move on. All right, cool. Let me just move that. Okay, cool. So essentially, what did we use for this application? We essentially used a macro, because I think a macro was the easiest to use in terms of fitting this onto for documentation itself. And I think it's what a lot of people use itself, because you just essentially just add this into a page. So we'll just go back just to give you a brief demo of what it's like. So you can essentially add it through, I think it was one of these things before. I couldn't remember exactly what it was before, but essentially if you add a slash and then you type in your name, you can find your demos here, and then you can just add it in, and that's how it works. So it'll just run like that at some point. We'll just go through that later, but that's essentially how it works. And then so we had to reference Jira Cloud REST APIs. So they were very simple to use as well. So I'll just find documentation there. So yeah, you just have basic APIs that you can reference here, and then you can just access them based on the profile that you had. So you just log in, access them, and then you have access to all the permissions and stuff that you have for your projects, and then you can just treat them as normal JavaScript. And then in terms of the Atlassian developer itself, we wanted to focus on using Forge storage and SQLs. So here you have a view on the SQL from Atlassian developer. You have your own Confluence and Jira setup. So we'll just go through to that as well. So here I'm in my own Atlassian developer portal, and then we had to set up both Confluence and Jira for application just for permission's sake. So going into our Confluence application here, you can see we set up a very simple schema here. It's mainly just strings and keys and stuff like that. So very simple, just a simple block. And then you have your reference to all your table data here. So it's just very simple to use. You can just check all your data here, and it's all intuitive. In terms of the UI that we used, we constructed our application on custom UI because we thought that we needed a bit more control in terms of what we could apply to Forge. So essentially with Forge, you have two options. You have what we used, custom UI. You also have Atlassian UI Kit, which is essentially like a pre-built component modules similar to Material or Bootstrap or Chatsien or like other modules that people have used before, but it's Atlassian's own version. It's very intuitive to use. It's simple to use. It's a pretty good kit, but in terms of what we were looking for in terms of our UI developments, it wasn't enough in terms of its flexibility. We also went with Vite for offline development because we wanted to develop components and UI iterations offline as you had to essentially deploy your application to your developer environment, and that took time, and we thought that developing offline would be easier. And as referenced before, we used Forge SQL for block storage, and we use Sustand for internal state reference in our React application. So some additional thoughts and considerations. As stated before, we did consider using UIKit, but it was a bit too simplistic for our views. But in terms of other novice developers, such as ourselves and other people who were looking to develop on Atlassian, that would be appropriate and probably the best way to get into it. In terms of developing other things in our application, we tried to use shared links and other things such as iframes and other applications that weren't applicable in the sandbox environment, as this environment didn't allow for that. So we had to develop our own pop-ups through custom components and then take data source from Jira in order to create those pop-ups and modules for that. In terms of pipeline procedures for internal deployment, essentially with Forge, you need to develop and then deploy your application over to your developer environment. So with some applications, especially with storage, you had to redeploy your application and then reinstall it multiple times to ensure that your updates were reflected on that in that developer environment, and that proved to be time consuming because that takes around 15 to 20 seconds per deployment. So that's why we essentially reverted back to offline development for parts of it, and then use that when we wanted to essentially reference SQL development later towards the end of our project. So essentially, the macro was very easy to use. We found that Forge, there was some time to set up. Essentially, if you just follow these similar templates that they have online, you can essentially set up your own Forge application really easily. Just follow all these steps. You have a manifest, which is here. You can just edit that. It's all very easy to use. And then after that, you can just treat that like a normal development. If you want to use UIKit, or if you just want to develop with React or some other platform, it's very easy to integrate. And yeah, overall, it wasn't too bad to use, and it was pretty easy for us to develop an application that was working at the end. Thanks.
Wow, is that the end, Andrew?
Yeah.
It's a really well thought out app. Amanda, how much time did they actually have to come up with the requirements and build the app?
Sorry, could you repeat?
Yeah, I mean, how long do they have? How much time do they have to come up with the requirements and build the app? It seems like this is.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a few different checkpoints through where they iterate on their app several times, but at least overall, I think maybe 6 or 7 weeks to develop.
Wow.
And this is juggling, full-time school as well. So not bad.
Well, kudos to our students. Really well done. Okay, Andrew, let's go to the chat. Okay, we do have a question from Mel. Okay, Mel?
Yeah, so I can see you built a Confluence app, but you're bringing Jira data into it. So did you find it difficult to make your app work cross context with Jira and Confluence? And how did you implement like that? Was there any special things that you needed to do, I guess, to implement that?
Yeah, so I think one complication that we ran across was permission issues between the two platforms. So I wasn't exactly privy to the technicalities behind this, but essentially you had to install your application across both platforms. So you had to install it on Confluence and Jira itself, so the app could access permissions across both. And that was essentially a workaround that we had to implement for it.
Cool.
Yep. Sounds good. And I think Liz also shared the same view. So thanks, Liz. So yes, that's correct. You have to install the app both in Confluence and Jira for you to be able to call the request Jira and request Confluence. Okay, no more questions in the chat. That's really well done. Congratulations to you, Andrew and team. Now we'll move on to our next group. Okay, so for our next group, they have built a Confluence app to help cut down content redundancy in Confluence by using Forge and AI. So for the team, we have, I'm going to bring in Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy.
Hello, how are you?
Yep, we're good. And next up is Nathan.
Hello, how's everyone going?
Yep, doing good. Okay, I'm going to share your presentation now, Jimmy.
Yep,
Okay.
start presenting.
Okay, let's get started then. So, hello everyone. Today we're going to be presenting our Forge app, which is called Confluence Fuser. So first, just introducing our team. There's me, Nathan, the Scrum Master, as well as Jimmy, one of the developers on our team. And our other members are Carmen, the product owner, Brian, Wanjing, and Jiro, who unfortunately couldn't attend today. So the main problem we're trying to solve with the app is that currently on Confluence Spaces, there's a high amount of content redundancy where there are many pages that just repeat the same information over and over again, which goes and creates confusion with any Confluence users trying to figure out the best source of information, especially when they're contradictory, time wasting, as well as reduced productivity and manageability in delivering whatever outcomes are expected of them. It is reported that around 20% of employees' workdays actually are wasted on information searching. So in order to counter that, our project's objectives are to go and use artificial intelligence to compare Confluence page content, such as text, headings, images, and attachments, to detect similar or overlapping pages across Confluence spaces, which can be done through triggering what we call scans for potential duplicates, which will go and notify page watchers through Confluence comments when any duplicates are found. Users will be able to go and review these duplicates and go and mark whether or not they go and consider it to be non-duplicate. So in this case, they don't think that the information is common at all. There's different aspects being addressed here. So they will not be considered for any merging into where you can go and combine the contents that are similar into one unified page. And any conflicting information will be highlighted in their own conflict boxes on the final result. Yeah. So our app is completely developed on Forge and hosted by Atlassian servers and works entirely within the Confluence website. We use generative AI functionalities to scan, summarize, and merge different duplicate page pairs. And we aim through this product to go and provide users a seamless hands-off experience while allowing some flexibility to go and customize what the final result will be as required. So our solution is currently going and replacing the third-party marketplace plugin in Atlassian Confluence, which is called the Similar Content Finder. This is a highly manual process where you go and simply select a section of text in a Confluence page, and through a fuzzy matching algorithm instead of artificial intelligence, this plugin will go and tell you what pages have matching content, matching blocks of text across different pages. So as you can see, it only does the scanning part, it doesn't really go and do any of the merging. So in terms of the approach we took with the scanning, we went and first got all the pages across the spaces and generated and stored embedding tokens using OpenAI's embedding model. Then we went and applied the cosine similarity formula between the two vectors of embeddings to determine the semantic similarities between all the different pairs you can go and make of the pages. For each page pair where a default 80% similarity threshold is crossed, we go and flag the page pair as duplicate, which you can go and see on a display in the app. Yep, next one. For the second main functionality, which is merging, we went and used the OpenAI GPT-4 mini model due to both its high accuracy as well as its low cost. where users can go and manually trigger page merging if they view that the pages are indeed duplicates. The general workflow is that first, the text is extracted and analyzed from both our pages before the model goes and merges them based on semantic similarities. As mentioned before, any conflicts will also be extracted, so contradictory information. For example, here we have in UNSW official puppy is Rex in one page versus Luna is a UNSW official dog in the other duplicate page. So I'll be outlining a red pane as we'll see later in the demo. After that, we'll go and have asset handling, where any attachments will be deduplicated. So in this case, we're talking about non-textual elements, where if there are two of the exact same of these elements, we'll only go and keep one of them. But if they're not the same, then they'll just be left there on the merge page. Finally, there'll be a storage update where the original pages, now they're considered redundant, will be archived, and various relationships, such as whether the duplicates or not, will be updated accordingly. Okay. We also have notifications where any page watchers, so the authors of the duplicate content, will be notified through @mentions, which is a natural feature of the Confluence app. The workflow is that we'll go and fetch the page watchers through the Confluence API. Atlas document format with @mentions will be going created for this particular message. As you can see, the standard format here. There'll be smart targeting where where the watchers will be then notified through email. And this will be done with cross notifications between relayed pages. Next slide. Yep. And here is just a quick system architectural diagram to go and showcase all the different components of our app. As you can see, we store our data using the storage API, where we go and use key values with all the various page embeddings, page IDs, as well as any duplicate pairs. Okay, and now I'll hand over to Jimmy, who will do the product demo. Thank you, Jimmy.
Okay. Thank you, Nathan. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and demo our final product here. So just for your information, just before I start, you might notice a little debug page at the bottom here. This is just for demoing purposes, as it just allows us to clear the storage when need be. However, our final app just comes with this Confluence Fuser app at the top here. Okay, perfect. I might just go through just a bit of an overview before I start. This is our app, Confluence Fuser, and within this app, we have a couple of different tabs that do a couple of different things. So firstly, we have the duplicate pages tab, which will display pairings that have been flagged as similar to each other. We also have the merge history, which will display all of the pages that have been merged together, along with a link to that merged page. We also have this scan space tab, and this is only available to admins, and it'll allow admins to trigger the AI-powered scan to actually be able to scan for those duplicates. And finally, we have the admin settings, which is also only available to admins, and this will allow them to actually input their own API key just for usability purposes so that they can use the AI features. And on the bottom here, there is also a similarity threshold where admins are able to actually dictate how sensitive the AI scan actually is. So for example, if I were to put in 50 and save it, this will mean that the AI scanner will only return page pairings that are 50% similar or higher, basically. Just give it a second. We can see a little confirmation message, and I can also go ahead and reset the threshold, which will bring it back to the default, which is 80% in this case. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, before I showcase all the AI features, I'm first just going to showcase how the manual flagging works. So let's say I have these 3 pages here, similar page 1, 2, and 3. And as a user, I have determined that similar page 2 and 3 are actually duplicates of similar page 1. What I can do in this case is I can go ahead and actually click this inline text here. Once it loads up, this page status inline text, and go ahead and actually flag those pages as similar to each other. So once this loads, we can see the current status being non-duplicate because we haven't flagged it yet. So here we can see the current status as a non-duplicate. I can then go ahead and mark as duplicate, and this will give me a list of pages that is currently in my space. And all I need to do is actually just check mark the pages that I want to mark as duplicate to the current one. So in this case, similar page 2 and 3. I can then go ahead and confirm it. And what we'll be able to see is that the current status will then be changed to a duplicate because it has been flagged. And on top of this, we'll also be able to see a confirmation message at the bottom here. Now, if I go to my app and I go on the duplicate pages tab, I will be able to see that those pairings have actually been created. So we have similar page 1 and 3, and also similar page 1 and 2. So those pairings of duplicate pages have been created. Let's say now that I want to actually mark as non-duplicate. I can easily do that just by going to actions here, clicking see more, and simply click mark pages as non-duplicate. Confirm, and then we'll be able to see that those pairings have now been eliminated from the duplicate pages tab. I can do the same for this one, and now both of them have been eliminated right here. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to go to the AI scanner. So for demoing purposes, let's say I have these two pages here, and I am an admin of Common Space, which is right here, and also Brian Space. And within those two spaces, there is some redundancy where we have kittens from Common Space, which features a blurb about kittens. And similarly, we also have a kittens from Brian Space page that features a similar blurb about kittens that has been paraphrased. And on top of that, we also have some distinct information. So on Brian Space, we have Brian dislikes kittens. And if I go to Common Space, we'll be able to see some more distinct information about Common liking kittens right here. So just to show you that the AI will actually be able to pick up on this difference and similarity. So let's say I want to actually be notified of this redundancy and scan for it. All I need to do as the admin is just click Start Scan here. This will just bring a page that tells me the current threshold and also to not leave the page, as that will disrupt the scan. I can go ahead now and start the scan. And this will start the progress at the bottom here. And so once this is done, we will receive a message saying that new duplicates have been found right here. New duplicates were found. And so now if I go ahead and go to the duplicate pages tab, we will be able to see all of the page pairings that that the AI was able to find. So namely the kittens from Brian Space as well as the kittens from Common Space has been flagged. And those two have, the redundancy has been found as a result. Now, let's say I actually click on this page to view the page again. We will be able to actually see the notification system working. So just give it a second. And this comes in the form of a comment. So once this loads up, we will be able to see a comment that has been left by the AI, notifying the author that their page has been marked as a duplicate or flagged as a duplicate to another page.
Did it hang for a bit, Jimmy?
Yeah, it's a bit slow. Okay, I'll just show the.
No worries.
Oh, it's there.
It happens to the best of
might
us.
just-
But this app really looks good. I I can see it. Yeah, I mean, I can see it being used by people who manage Confluence and its content, because it's definitely going to make the Confluence content management a bit easier. Okay, is it
Yeah, and
working
I
now?
think that's
Okay.
the main purpose, just to get rid of the redundancy. And here, yeah, I'll just showcase the email. So I've been notified, I've been mentioned in the comments. So that's me being mentioned as the author of the page. And this is the comment that was supposed to appear. This page has high semantic similarity with another page within the space. So that's kind of the comment that has been left, basically. I'll just go back to the app. Hopefully it will load. Okay, I think we are back, hopefully. Okay, let's say, so now that these have actually been flagged as a duplicate of each other, let's say now I actually want to view an AI generated summary just to see what the AI has actually picked up on in terms of the similarities and differences. I will be able to do so just via the Actions tab here. And once I click on it, they will have a tab that allows me to view a summary. And what this will do is generate me an AI generated summary that will tell me the similarities and differences that the AI was actually able to pick up on. All right, so we see here we have a similarity score, which is how similar the AI deems these two pages to be. And if I scroll down, I will be able to see the similarities and differences. So the similarities being the content focus, the descriptive language, the themes of affection, and the structure, and the differences being the tone of opinion, word choice, emotional impact, and the specificity. So as you can see here, page 1 presents a negative view with Brian disliking kittens, and page 2 expresses a positive sentiment with Carmen liking kittens. So we can see that the AI was actually able to pick up on that distinct information. I can always regenerate this little summary if for clarity purposes if I need be. But let's just go ahead and close it for now. And now that I've actually closed it, I will now be able to actually merge these two pages together as a way to reduce that redundancy. Give it a second.
Taking a little bit.
Don't worry, Jimmy. It happens to the best of us. During demo,
Yeah, sorry about
normally
this.
happens. Yep, don't worry about it. Okay, it's working now.
Okay, let me just go ahead and merge them. Okay. Okay, so now that I've clicked merge, it will just ask me which space I want the merged page to appear in. I'll just pick my own space for now. I'll then go ahead and proceed with merge. And what this will do is create a new page that actually merges the contents of those two pages together. Just give it a second. All right, so we can see it has been merged successfully. I'm going to go ahead and check the results here. An AI disclaimer comes up. because this was an AI generated content and just to alert the user. And then once I click that, it will actually redirect me to this new page, which I have actually merged those two pages together. So we have the kittens blurb at the bottom here, and we also have a red box highlighting the conflicting information that's occurring. So in this instance, Brian disliking kittens and Carmen liking kittens. And so this box is just for the user's discretion, just so that they have the opportunity to actually deal with these differences. Because my software is a little bit slow, I might just cut it a little short. So ideally what should happen is that once the merge actually occurs, we will, the original pages, so in this case, kittens from Brian Space and kittens from Carmen Space, will be archived. And then this will allow the opportunity for the user to either delete it completely or actually restore the pages if they need be. Now that it has actually also been generated, we can actually go ahead and go back to the made page, and we can see that the original pages, so the kittens pages, have been eliminated from the duplicate pages tab, and they will then be moved to the merge history. So we have that clear separation between pages that have been dealt with and pages that haven't been dealt with. So I'll just quickly show the merge history and then we'll end it there. Yeah, and there's also that confirmation message telling them that it will now be in the merge history. And there we go. So as those original pages have now been moved here, the time of merge is here, and also a link to the merged page is evident. So yeah, that concludes our final demo. Thank you so much for listening.
Yep. Thank you, Jamie and Nathan. So not only did you use Forge and Confluence APIs, you even connected it with AI. So kudos to you. Job well done. Now let's go to the chat. I think we still maybe just one question. No questions, but it looks like you have a potential customer over here. All right. So if in case you decide to sell the app, looks like someone's already interested. So that's good.
Yeah. I promise it's quicker than what we showed today.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Jimmy and Nathan. Now we need to move fast. So say goodbye for now, Jimmy and Nathan.
Thank you.
Okay. So as for our third and last group for today, they will present a Confluence app that uses the power of AI to change images into Confluence pages. So we have with us Jocelyn. Uh, there you go. Hey,
Hello.
Jocelyn.
Hi
Hello.
guys.
Yep. And then with Jocelyn is Colin.
Hi guys.
Hey, Colin. Okay. Are you ready to showcase your project?
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen.
Okay. Thank you.
Um, Hi everyone. So today I'm excited to introduce our whiteboard summarize Forge app. For every team that struggles with messy Confluence whiteboard, our app can just transform them into a structured Confluence pages with AI in seconds. Let's get started. Please take a look at the whiteboard photo on the screen. This is from my previous group meeting. As we can see that real-life team whiteboards are often messy and very hard to organize. And our quick survey among UNSW students working in group projects found that preparing meeting notes for this can take over an hour. So our app just helped turn messy Confluence whiteboard into clean and well-structured and editable Confluence pages, and automatically in just a few clicks. In the final version, we deliver smart AI analysis of whiteboard images with 5 styles and multimodal support, one-click generation of structured and a multi-language Confluence pages, and an enhanced user experience, including customer themes, real-time feedback, and also detailed history. And also an in-app editing. It is a robust backend with ASIC processing, secure storage, and a user-friendly onboarding guide. Here is our system design. We built both the backend and frontend using React and Express.js. For reliability, we add a database to store our data, and in this way, users don't lose response if the internet cuts out, and they can also send multiple requests at the same time. For AI services, we use the Verso AI SDK, and which is the most popular Node.js AI library right now. With it, our app supports multi-modal switching and also an error handling. So most common AI problems are automatically fixed, and the user experience is smoother. And because it is a Confluence app, we also studied the Confluence APIs carefully and also integrated as many as possible to ensure a seamless experience. And for our prompts, we designed 5 different detailed prompts tailored for different industry needs. And this they give our user flexibility and make sure that results match their requirements. In short, to build the best analyzer for whiteboard images, we combine ASIC processing, multimodal AI support, detailed prompts, and also deep Confluence integration. Let's dive into how our each components works. Our app is organized into 3 areas. First is the app settings, and users can adjust app-related features. And the second one is the toolbar at the top center of the page, where our user control AI generation. And the third one is the upload area, where our user can upload new images or just reuse old ones to save in history, which can be found in our history records. And so that's a quick overview of the 3 areas of our app. Are introduced from the app settings, including the help center, theme switcher, and our language selector. Let's start by the help center. To help users learn how to use our app, we use React Jira to create an interactive tutorial. And from here, our users can find step-by-step guides and also other informations. So you don't need to look up external documentation to learn how to use it. And next, we also have the theme switcher. This is based on our MUI theme provider. And people with colorblind may have difficulty for fancy background. So we believe that a single UI cannot meet different needs. So we also added 4 themes, which is space, sea, clouds, and also our red green colorblind. We aim to give our user more choices, which will help the app more inclusive, also especially for the users with vision challenges. Finally, is our language selector. Since Atlassian is an international platform, our user may speak different language, and to solve this, we pull out all these tags and build a language switcher using React, and this allow our users to use their preferred language. But we didn't stop just from here. Based on our client feedback, we also made AI generate output in the same language as the app. You can see the results in different language, like English or French. Right now, we offer 4 themes and 6 languages, and that's it for all the setting area. Then let's walk through our toolbar. When you click our app for the first time, you can see this collapsed toolbar. We provide 6 optional functions on this panel. The first one is the model select box. You can switch between 12 powerful models through our backend APIs. And these models cover different aspects of efficiency and creativity. So you can just choose the one that best meets your needs. The second one is the present template. You can choose from 5 present templates supporting different nouns, terms, and also specialized scenarios. For example, this page is generated by the concise concise template. Let me find it. And so you can choose the one that best meets your requirements. The templates help our user quickly get results, which suit them best. And the second one is the custom prompt input. You can add custom instructions. For example, we can focus on a specific part of our image or put our result in the table, and the backend will process these inputs and deliver more relevant results. For example, this page is generated by the same image as the above, but with the template, put the result in the table. Then it just come out with the table. For security reason, we will first of all analyze all our inputs, and if any content violates laws or regulations, it will be blocked automatically. So this ensures our app is secure and compliant. The fourth one is the in-app page editing. Instead of switching to another page, we can just edit the generated page directly in our app. By checking this option and by leveraging Confluence building functions, we can make the changes like let me change the language. Like we can change this to make it bold, or just insert tables, or adjust font size, just like we would do on a normal Confluence page. And the next one is our history control. With this button, we can just choose not to save history for specific generations, keeping only the result we need. The last one is our reset button. This button restores all our settings to default with one click. And this sixth function aims to make our toolbar meet both the function requirements and also make it user-friendly. So that's how our toolbar looks for users. On the side code, our frontend is built with React and Vite in Forge, and it calls our backend worker APIs. Then let me show the two main functions, the edit page and our history records. Let's start with the edit page. To enable this feature, we first need to go to settings. Like what I said before, we should check the edit button. Then let's upload a new whiteboard image. Because uploading the image may take some time, we just use the history records before. After that, we just need to wait a moment for our AI to process the image, and it comes out with the result. Once that's done, our edit page will appear, and the title and content you can see is all automatically generated by the AI. But of course, we can change it like we wish. After editing, we just simply click the publish button, and the title and the content on the page will match what we just edited. Like this. Okay, let's go back to the app and take a look at the history records feature. Because we uploaded an image just now, there are some past records in the history records. We can see that the statistic of the number of historical records is up to 10. And from here, we can do several things. Like we can change the templates or just the prompt to generate a brand new summary. And after setting it up, we can simply click on the left side of the image, and then the app will handle the next step automatically. If we want to view the previous result, we can click on the right side of the image. And in this way, we can skip the AI process and see the last results immediately. And if we don't want to keep this image in the history, we can just click the bottom of the image to delete it. And to prevent user from accidentally clicking the delete button, we also added a confirmation dialog. We can also choose to clear all these history records, and there's also a confirmation dialog. That's the flow for our edit and history for our user side. And for the last part, I'd like to walk you through a few enhancements that are designed to improve the overall quality and also our user experience. First, we have an interactive tutorial in the Help Center. Unlike our static documentation, we find and highlight the key UI on the screen. Users can freely go next, go back, or just simply skip the tutorial as they wish. Users can also check it in at any time. It also supports multiple languages. Since Atlassian is an international platform, we made seamless language switching part of our experience. And next, taking our clients' feedback into account and knowing that many enterprise users may work during late hours, we also implemented a dark mode across all our available themes. For example, look at here. This part is in our app, but when I change the side theme, our app just automatically adapts. As shown here, all our themes have a dark mode. We monitor the context in HTML, and the dark mode will follow our Confluence site or browser, so you never need to switch it manually at night. And in addition, we also introduce a colorblind-friendly theme, optimized for our regular vision deficiencies. Finally, we also adjust many UI design details. For example, unlike our early UI designs, we changed the setting bar into the setting panel into a toolbar. And because we know that users tend to adjust generation setting based on their needs, and we also provide clear tool tips for our ease of use. It can be hidden when you're not using it. Then our UI is responsive to fit different screen sizes. In addition, we use framer motion to edit animations on our background, and when our cards are switching, you can see the cards are dropping. To reduce our perceived waiting time during AI generation, we introduce these playful animations to keep our users visually engaged. The tutorial overlay uses React portals to draw highlights around DOM nodes, and our theme switching is done with CSS variables updated by a React context with Confluence theme and browser preference. Our colorblind mode is also a CSS override layer. So to sum up, when our clients ask for a whiteboard summary tool, our goal in UI design was to keep everything easy. Our team focused not only on delivering the main functionality, but also making sure that a smooth and intuitive experience for all our Atlassian users. We know that building a tool is just the first step, and what really matters is how people feel using it. And that's the experience we aim to deliver. That's the end of our demo. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Jocelyn and Colin. So apart from the great app, and not to mention cool UI, I was really impressed that you added different languages, making it more inclusive, as well as incorporating color-blind friendly designs, making it more accessible for everyone. So well done. Let's move on to the chat. Oh wait, Amanda, Mel, do you have any questions for the team before I go to the chat?
Yeah, nothing comes to mind for me, but yeah, very impressed by what you guys were able to do.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yep. I think there's one question for, well, I'll bring everyone in. If there are no questions for group number 3, I'll bring everyone in. So hang on. Hello, Andrew. Hello, Nathan. And hello again, Jimmy. I think we have a question from Liz that is applicable for everyone. So from Liz, so what is the REST API GET call to fetch the level of skill I need to build something like this? Well, to be fair, I think Andrew touched something a bit during his presentation. I think, Andrew, did you make the developer docs your friend? You did show a glimpse of the REST APIs. So what did you use to help you build the app?
Yeah, I think there was a specific like a documentation page, like reference page that you can use. I think you want me to bring it up?
No, no need.
Oh yeah, essentially yeah. There's a page with all like essentially the APIs, and then I guess like specific paths that you can take just to use those. You can just reference those, and then they're pretty simple to integrate and use.
Okay. I know we're a bit over time, but I just really want to ask the group. Since most, if not all of you, are first-time Forge builders here, how was the experience building with Forge? Anyone can take it? Any takers? Jimmy, Nathan? How was the experience?
I found it quite easy. I think it's mainly just the initial setup. So obviously, if you haven't really worked with the platform before, you'll need to create your own developer environments and logins and profiles and stuff like that. But once you get that done, you essentially just have to follow the templates that they have online. I think they have 3 or 4 different templates depending on what type of app or like type of macro that you want to create, but they're all very simple to use. Then yeah, you just follow that. You essentially have a manifest file, which is basically like a setting sort of file. You just fill that out. You can adjust it based on the advice that they give you. And then once you get that all set up, it's essentially just like a normal development environment. So yeah, just get all that set up and then you can just code away.
Sounds good. Okay, I guess that's it.
Yeah,
So
sorry, I just
thanks
wanted
again.
to add on.
Oh, go on.
Yeah,
Go, Jimmy.
I just wanted to point out that there are a lot of Atlassian-made tutorials as well, and they are very helpful to kind of get started with that as well. So I think there's a Hello World one that you can also follow, and it kind of gives you the basic.
Okay, sounds good. Mel, is that one of your projects as well?
The Hello World one isn't. I did the Forge Quest ones though, so if you use any of those are a great place to start as well.
Okay, so I guess that's it for us. So thanks for joining us today, everyone. Let's give the students a virtual round of applause. So it is really amazing to see the students who started with zero knowledge of Forge build something in 7 to 8 weeks, give or take, to solve real-world challenges. So with that, I hope to see you in the next Forge DevDen. And as always, I hope you learned something of value today. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.